Yo, come here, you gotta check this out.
Well, what is it?
Maybe it's your breath.
No, but you do have mustard on your shirt.
Dude, no there's not.
So then what is it? Seriously.
No, look.
KHS Best Classroom Contest. Winner gets cookies. You guys hear about this Best Classroom Contest? They're handing out cookies. Wait, am I on the show?
Yeah, Gene, we're doing the show right now.
Dang.
Wait, so, who gets the cookies?
Right? I think Kayla. Maybe Brett? I think Brett. I don't even know.
Let's just start the show.
Yeah.
All right, getting started. I'm Dylan Aslani, here with my best friend and co-host, Brady Grippo.
Thanks, man. Big shout out to Manny Zapata and all involved in the opening skit. As you can see, this is another episode of KCast.
On today's show, we toured through the rooms with several KHS teachers to share with us what makes our classroom special, unique, and comfortable. To kick it off, we're diving into Senora White's classroom, room 303, with Chase Broncleone and Kevin Lozada. Let's have a look.
Hola, bienvenidos a mi clase de español. Well, this classroom took a couple of years to create to what I wanted it to be. So if we look over here, if you look at this wall here, I think this was the first thing that I paid a good amount of time, thought about it for a good amount of time. This is tradition. So like all these names that are here are all the kids that I've taught in AP for the last 10, 11 years. It's very special to me. Honestly, I'm not going to tear up, but I kind of do. I don't remember the score of any of these kids, but I can tell you a memory that I've shared with each and every single one of them, which is, I think, is when I look at their names, that's what I think of. So the AP score really doesn't matter at all to me, but they just have left a special mark in my heart for the last 10 years that I've taught them. Frida is a very big part of, my likes and my culture, and what I teach. So you'll see Frida all over the classroom. This I got when I visited Mexico. All of these pictures here, you want to zoom in on any of them, but this is my very first class of AP, and then it goes to my second, my third. And when COVID hit, I was like, I need to do something to kind of keep up with the tradition. So here they are still, and you'll see little Zoom screens. And then, and it goes all the way up into this year, currently right now. So I'm looking to fill this up. The kids always ask, I think in any class that I have, when can my name go up there? And unfortunately, it's just for the AP kids, but I'm kind of running out of space, so I kind of have to figure out what to do next. This over here, these were all gifts that were given to me by students. I have a lot of gifts here from students in the last couple of years that I've taught them. But this is particularly special. This is depende, and that means depends in English. But this was made by the kids that had to unfortunately leave for COVID. So I was able to get together with them over the summer, and they gave this to me because this was always one of the things that they said to me whenever I opened up a conversation and wanted to get them talking. Everything was like, well, it depends, well, it depends, well, it depends. So it kind of became our thing. I go to prom every single year. I love going to prom, so I take pictures with the kids and I post them up here. I also have my daughters and my son and everything. But every year I give my AP kids as well. I give them a little card. We take the seal of biliteracy, and I just kind of post the pictures up there. And this is just gifts from the kids that have given it to me throughout the year. And and that kind of, and I try to incorporate now, I think, a little bit more of any seasonal things. So you'll see my lights, because I love lights. Those are two things I love, lights and smell. And I think that the kids also like coming into my room, and they're always like, it smells so good in here. In the corners over there, you'll see my little packs of scent. So that kind of gives a vibe, I feel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want everybody to feel comfortable here. I want people to feel like, you know, it's like a place to hang out. I mean, you're learning, obviously, but I kind of just wanted to give more of a relaxed feel and to kind of let the kids know that every one of them is important. If you look back here, this was created by one of my students in 2016. She's actually a student that I still keep in touch with. It's crazy because I've been teaching for about 15 years here, and those kids are now in their late 20s. And I have a handful of kids that I still keep in touch with, but she's one of them. And she made this, and it says, to use your voice to generate kindness, compassion, and peace in the future. So I love this. This was also made by the students, this big saying up at the top. And it reads in 2 languages. It says, in the moment when you start to think in 2 languages at the same exact time. Because it's true, when you're learning languages, you are thinking in 2 languages at the same time. So like those little things that were all made by the kids just to leave their mark. Even like if you look up at the front here, I love having that there. I think that kind of also makes it unique to the other rooms because there's a part of every class I've had. Everything that like we've created, I try to create a bond with these kids. I try to create like a culture. And so I always say to them, like at the end of every year, especially their senior year, I'm like, okay, well, what like wraps up our vibe, like our classroom, like what's our saying? Like that class was depende. So like things you see around the room are things that like we just reiterated throughout the year and that they're like, no, this is our saying, like this is our thing. So I kind of put that up there on the walls as well. So I think that makes it a little different.
I've never had that class before.
I had it last year. It's pretty legit.
Well, great job chasing Kevin for starting us off. Special thanks to Senora White and all who helped. Brady?
Next up, we're taking a trip to Mr. Pinola's room, which gave us a great look inside his classroom and what makes it unique. Dylan, isn't this your video?
Yeah, Brady, it is. Mr. Pinola was really excited to give us a detailed look around the room and how he created an atmosphere that's fun to learn in.
Wow, that sounds really cool. I can't wait to see it. Let's jump into this next segment made by Vasily Mihalis and my co-host, Dylan Aslani.
Hello, I'm Mr. Pinola. Welcome to my classroom. All right, so welcome to 211. I've been in this room for probably about 10 years now, and ever since COVID, I've just added more and more and more to these walls, so I've surrounded myself with stuff that makes me happy. Years ago, over here, we've got a painting by Madison Gear, who did a rendition of me as Captain America and Mr. Del Piano as Superman, immortalized at that wonderful stage when my hair was neither long nor short. We've got a ton of movie stuff everywhere, lots of Star Wars memorabilia and toys. We've got posters made by students for their art projects and lots of stuff with me and Mr. Del Piano. I think Shane Norvis a few years ago turned me into Adam and Jason Del Piano into God, as he is wont to be. We've got popcorn buckets, including Avatar: The Way of Water. New movie comes out tomorrow. By the time you're seeing this film, Avatar: Fire and Ash is probably one of the highest grossing films of all time. Mark my words. What have we got? We've got bobbleheads that kids have made. We've got portraits of a lot of my creative writing classes. Arushi did that a few years ago. Lots of pictures of those creative writing classes. We've got a really sweaty shirt from the first day of school when this room was as hot as it's ever been, and I sweat through a shirt in one single period. If you come over here and you look at some of these old pictures of my old creative writing classes, like this one right here, and you look in the background, you can see how bare the walls are by comparison. So over the years, I just kind of started, I'd put stuff up usually over by my desk. I'd have, a bunch of pieces of art over there. But once COVID hit and school just shut down, I came into school on the first day in September and the room was already decorated. So suddenly I didn't have to start decorating the room. I could just add to it. And that's really what I've been doing over the years. I just try to add things that make me happy. If we look over at the lectern here, one of my goals before I retire is to have this sucker completely covered with stickers. And that's kind of how I want the room to be. I just want it to be full of interesting things so that even if you're bored in class and even if you're not paying attention, you've got something to pay attention to which can be interesting and engaging. So what we've got over here are some of my commemorative popcorn buckets. I love to collect things, and especially with movies. And everyone thinks of Mr. Pinola as the Star Wars guy because, there's so much Star Wars merch, and I've got all the Star Wars gear in my room. My dad loved Star Wars growing up. But in truth, I'm an Avatar. So over in the back corner, a student years ago wanted to do a project for Of Mice and Men where they created paintings based on every chapter of the book. And I've had this up for all those years since, and it's really become one of my go-to examples of a student really taking ownership of their education, which is what I love in this class. I love to show my current students that they can make something, they can do something that's actually going to be not only important and potentially fun for them, but something that's going to live on in this classroom well after they've graduated.
I'm back, baby! He's back!
Originally, this segment was supposed to be with Mr. Del Piano, and due to unfortunate circumstances, he wasn't available.
Big thanks to Mr. Pinola for being able to step in and assist with that production. Thanks to the Mr. Del Pinolas.
Oh, nice combo there. Oh wait, Dylan, what's your favorite Star Wars character?
Huh? I don't watch cartoons. But, look, genuinely, for the dark side is Kylo Ren. But all time, come on, it's Yoda. And you?
R2-D2. And staying with the movie theme, our next segment highlights this space.
For me, it's possibly the best room in the entire school. It's an awesome learning environment. Brady, I guess technically we are doing that right now. I wonder what my grade's gonna be.
Well, we have a show to create. This segment is produced by Braden McCormick and Pedro Gomez, who filmed this studio, that control room, and that Mac Edit Lab.
That's great. This room, or these rooms, deserve a lot more credit, so let's take a look.
Yo, my guys. Oh, you wanted me down? I'll meet you down there. Come on in. Welcome. Welcome to All Things Media, TV, animation, film, video. Welcome to paradise. This room is too big to give you one looping tour. I'm Mr. DeWall, and welcome to Kinnelon High School, room 205. It's a great question. What was my vision with creating this room? So, backtrack. The classroom used to be Miss Vandersloot's room, 204, and then this wasn't here. This used to be a business room. And so right before the pandemic, there was conversation about eliminating 204 to have access between the classroom, the Mac Edit Lab, the computer lab, and the production studio. And so right before the pandemic, over the summer, there was a lot of changes in this classroom. I've been here for nearly 15 years. It's been a work in progress. So to go from 204 into 205 and now to have this complete space, it wasn't necessarily a vision when I first started, but to have this idea of a Mac edit lab for all your creativity and then have a production studio, and it also stores gear and stuff, which I felt was, to have that combination was accessible for the students and how we were going to create as opposed to trying to get across the hall every day. So really it became something that was more about flow. We established a different layout for the room and running power. A couple summers ago, very thankful, our phys ed teacher, Miss Manko, she actually painted the Mac Edit Lab black, right? Because most studios, it's either a dark charcoal gray, black. It helps with reading the light off of the computer screens or reading video properly. So it just gave it a kind of real working, simulating career, simulating a real studio environment. And in fact, usually it looks something like this, right? So students walk in and we have these LED lights, and the room is a little bit darker, LED lit. I feel like the fluorescent overhead, it doesn't feel well for a creative space. So just changing some of the vibes. So when students walk in, this as a classroom immediately feels different, hopefully for them, and the learning commences from there. Yeah, so great question. For those who are watching, Pedro Gomez is behind the camera with McCormick as producers. So what vibe does it feel like for students? A great question. As a teacher, right, service provider, you establish a relationship with the students, and the room innately becomes their room as well. Is it my room? Sure, it's the students' room. So there's a lot of little just details of being here and having a longevity and a legacy of the program. The students always add to it each year. So I mentioned painting the room and new furniture, right? Things that feel more contemporary for the students. It's not just a desk in a row. They can work in groups. It's free flowing. They can leave the room, right? So that vibe, it may not even be condensed to this particular classroom. We may be in the studio. They may be in the hallway. They may be doing a production on the football field. But I think some of the things that the vibe, it's created by the students as well. Little details like Ryan McCormick several years ago, he started the pennants on the wall, so seniors would kind of leave their mark. They would autograph their pennant and what school they were going to. From a retired teacher here, Jackie Castro, she was fantastic and really strong in the visual arts here, so I have some of her artwork in the room. I think the other one too that makes it interesting, just little things like my calendar that kind of marks the school year. I'll do a little doodle, right, just to kind of make it to say the word happy, positive would be the word. You want the experience to be positive for the student, right? There's a lot that goes on in their high school careers. I want their feeling and vibe to be positive. And usually each year there's a student or several students that leave their mark a little bit, right? I have things from Shane Norvis. I have things from my first year teaching here. I have the ceiling tiles, the ceiling of fame. Instead of having a wall of fame, I have kind of like a ceiling of fame. And if you go through the 4 years of the different programs, you leave your mark and you have a caricature on the ceiling. So the vibe is positive. My top 3 things in the room that make it special, I'll even say 4. So number 1, and this is an addition to this year, flat screen TV monitor, right? For years I had a projector and I'm instructing film and video and animation through a projector, and just that clarity to have a television monitor, flat screen, and the display of what I'm working on or instructing from my computer displayed on the monitor, key. I think the second one is in the classroom and in our studio, professional software, professional gear, right? The same things that are being utilized in industry, high school student has that opportunity here at Kinnelon High School. I think that's fantastic. I would put that on my list. The third one would be the studio, right? Like we have this Mac edit lab, we have this computer lab, and then here's this adjacent space that's used every day. We have this studio, and so you have this other creative space. I think that's amazing. And then my last one, the fourth one, would be the legacy of the program, right? You're as good as the students want to be, very thankful that they want to be great. And so the legacy of the program, right? There's a tradition and a history here, and the kids contribute to that. So those would be my top four things. Largely, the four courses that I instruct, and sometimes the independent study, a lot of it starts in the room 205 with our Mac Edit Lab. And then eventually, as we go from intro level courses and we increase our abilities with Advanced 1 and Advanced 2 or animation, we utilize the studio, and it's an active space, right? So we're very fortunate at Kinnelon High School to have a studio where we can do podcasts, where we can do studio shows. We have green screen, so maybe the space adds to special effects, or we're thinking about utilizing some of the different software that's available in the courses. The space also adds as a storage facility too. There's a lot of equipment that is used, right? So I have space and everything's labeled, and the kids know, or the students know where to go. You know, we have intro level, and then we have their intro level gear. Typically, the studio is used for Advanced 1 and Advanced 2 or independent study students. We have an adjacent control room, so the control room talks to the activity that's going on in the studio, and I think those are some of the skills too that these courses provide students. Yes, there's this creative outlet and creative space, but it's those soft skills that they'll carry through with them for the rest of their lives. File management, meeting deadlines, communication, collaboration. Those skills you'll find in almost any career. You know, so to see the students as they grow through the programs develop those skills within this space is rewarding for me as a teacher. So with our control room, right, you have this ability to do a different style of production. A lot of our early production in the early levels of the course, individual, maybe singular camera, and you're editing and you know your work. This is an environment where multiple students will work together to create a show, multiple cameras, switching live. We also take this idea and we've done it live for some of our sports broadcasts, and we're live from you know, the gym or outside on the football field, and we broadcast sports. What makes it exciting to share this with everybody is here's an opportunity. You're a 14 to 18-year-old young adult having the ability to work with professional industry software, industry production equipment, learning the phases of production, developing communication skills, and enhancing your creativity. So I hope you enjoyed the tour, right? Just getting an aspect of what the rooms are like, the vibe, positivity, what it feels like for a student. You know, as you can see, it's an active studio. There's props, there's sets, there's equipment, there's software, there's a computer edit lab, there's a studio. So with that, allow me to show you out.
Hello, Mr.
Here! Use it. Yeah, use it. Yeah, so
I'm recording.
come on in. Welcome to, this room is right. Yeah. Yo, my guys. Oh, you wanted me down? I'll meet you down there. Come on in. Welcome. Maybe because I was mic'd up, it was a gag the whole time. You know, the learning commences from there. Good luck editing.
Wow, was that the longest segment ever?
I mean, it has to be. I'm sure they had a good time editing. Well, between all three of these rooms that are vital to Mr. DeWall's classes, there are a lot of things to talk about. Are we right, DeWall?
Next up, we have someone who you might seen on the sidelines at wrestling matches or even running through the halls.
Running through the halls?
Yep, see if you could spot him. He's pretty quick. Let's take a look into one of Mr. Colabell's many rooms.
You go first.
Hey,
Hey, Mr. C, want to show us around your room?
sure thing.
What's your favorite aspect of your room?
I think the room is spacious. It's kind of got a cool ambiance around it. I share a room with Miss Elia, so we have a bunch of different posters and stuff that get posted around the room, different projects and things like that. So there's always a lot of things going on around the room, but they're all definitely history related. So it creates a cool atmosphere for a lot of the kids to come in. So just on my desk, I have a multitude of different things. So, I mean, I work off of 2 computers because it's fairly easy to do that, especially if you're grading and checking things from Google Classroom, putting it into real time. And then I just have some personal things, obviously a globe because I'm in a history teacher. I have some football memorabilia when we won the division in, 2022. I have some more back here when we won the division this past year. A wrestling conference championship, a tournament, second place plaque there as well. I have a picture from my wedding with me and my wife, and then on the other side of this, I have an ultrasound of our unborn son right now, which he will be coming very soon.
What's your favorite memory in this room?
There's a lot of things here. I mean, me and Miss Elia sharing a room, there's just a lot of like fun banter going back and forth between the two of us. Just the liveliness of the room. I mean, you can see like all of her books there, all the posters that we do, the different ones in the front of the room. Both of our classes kind of coexist in this room and we have a bunch of different things up. So it makes it a really fun room to be in. I have freshmen, she has juniors, so it's kind of that difference of grade where they're like, oh, what is this class doing? What is that class doing? And they see all the different posters up there. So it's just a really fun place to be in. And, you know, with Miss Elia having that fun banter day to day, kind of getting us through those more challenging days, it's just a really great place to be stationed in the school.
What's your favorite class to teach?
Initially when I started, it was US history, but I've really started to get a more love for AP European history for 2 reasons. I mean, AP European history, it's interesting, so we can kind of cover different things in higher level detail because a lot of the students have world history before European history. And then just working with the seniors, it's really kind of made me enjoy that class a lot more. When initially getting hired and teaching that class, I wasn't really too excited about it, but it's really become such a fun course. And having only one for the first 2 years of my teaching career here, now having 2, it shows like some more interest that some kids want to take that class.
How does being moved around in different rooms impact your ability to teach?
I wouldn't say it impacts my ability to teach overall. It's just running through the hallways to get from one end of the building to the other. The hardest is when I have to teach next door in 219 and then run next block all the way down to 204 while dodging and evading traffic throughout the entire hallway of seniors, juniors, and freshmen and sophomores.
What vibes are you trying to create in this class?
I think the overall vibe is just more of a relaxed setting to where if you have issues, you can ask, more of that safe space. I don't like to necessarily be that dictator type of teacher to where people are afraid to ask me certain questions or ask for help. So I kind of like it to be a little bit more of a chill environment so that the kids all feel comfortable, I feel comfortable. But yeah, I would say the overall vibe is just something a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more fun as we kind of get the curriculum done throughout the year.
Good job to Kareem and Allie for making this video. And we want to give a big congrats to the Colabella family as they welcome in their first child. Shout out to baby Dominic. Everyone's happy and healthy.
Oh man, that's awesome. Happy for everybody.
The most underrated aspect of a teacher is their experience. And nobody knows it better than our own Dr. Essien, a man with many years of experience.
I mean, decades really.
A man wise beyond his years.
I heard the only people who call him Steve are on display in the Smithsonian.
Up next, stories and artifacts from 30 plus years in the classroom, brought to you by producers Emmanuel Zapata and Giancarlo Anastasia. Let's check it out.
Come in. Hello, gentlemen. Who am I? I am Dr. Stephen Racine, and I teach, well, right now I'm teaching U.S. history too, but I've taught pretty much everything in the department. Well, when I taught at Morris Catholic, there was a ledge outside of my classroom, and a bunch of my students crawled out the window. And when I was taking attendance, they popped up outside of the classroom. And of course, it was on the second floor, so there was no danger there. So that was the craziest thing that ever happened in my classroom. Well, I always, my whole life, I've liked color. And when I was a kid, I loved stained glass windows in old buildings. And my dad was a contractor, so I learned how to cut glass and solder when I was a kid. And it was something that I always wanted to do, and 45 years ago I started making small stained glass pieces. I had a workshop where I restored antique furniture, and people started buying the stained glass. So I enjoyed making the stained glass more than in restoring antique furniture, so that's what happened. So I've been doing it for 45 years. The oldest thing in the classroom next to me is this old iron, which is probably from about 1880. And then this World War I soldier picture, which is from about 1917. This is actually only my second one. I was in Mr. Del Piano's room until they built this new wing. And then they moved me in here, I guess, because they thought I needed the air conditioning since I was getting older. But I grew up without air conditioning, so it really didn't matter. So I've been here since the new wing opened. So I have some friends that think I'm as old as Yoda. So and I like the Yoda character. So I was out in Ohio with my brother, and we found a toy store, and there was a Yoda, so I bought it. And we share the same hairstyle. Although I think he has more. Well, years ago, every person's favorite word in Kinnelon was chillin'. Now I say, "Are you chillin'?" I don't even know what that means. So I bought a house in Denville with a nice workshop, and that was hanging on the wall. And I said, "That's perfect." So I brought it in, and chillin' has sort of died as a word, which is fine because I didn't understand what it meant anyway.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
gets the people going.
Favorite thing in the room? It's a good question. I like the American Revolution Bicentennial flag that I got somebody gave me, actually. That's my favorite thing in the room. And my 49 star flag next to it. Abraham Lincoln, he's my favorite president. And then that's an image I just randomly found at an estate sale that reminded me of a village I was in Scotland. My favorite song? That's a good question. Let It Be by the Beatles.
Some more interesting facts about Doc, besides his age, is he's a Hall of Fame soccer coach with over 600 victories, making him one of the best soccer coaches in the nation. He's also a skilled and crafted artist who has commissioned several stained glass projects.
Yeah, I mean, Doc is Doc. His stories are awesome.
Let's turn the tables and switch it up from old to new.
Another unique classroom here at KHS is room 204 that hosts several different courses, but notably Ms. Vandersloot and her journalism classes. My co-host, along with producer Matt Kristoff, provides this next segment, and we learn what makes this classroom so cozy.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Vandersloos, and this is room 204. So we always keep the lights off in here. We have lots of Christmas lights, which I think the students like. We have a couple of awards that the journalism students have accrued over the years as a group. We have our Cult Chronicle wall over here, so anybody who's been in the journalism program for the full 4 years of the program gets to put their handprint on the wall, so hopefully eventually the wall will be completely filled up. And then I have my little corner where I just have pictures of friends and colleagues and family, and you can get to know a little bit more about who I am as a person. Sometimes students feel like school is jail, so I felt like turning the lights off and getting softer lights and lamps and things like that would help warm the space up. Journalism, I guess, right? I teach English, but I also teach journalism, so I feel like the Cult Chronicle wall is a focal point of the room. Again, like we got like the rock salt lamp in the back. I have some inspirational quotes in the back that like little cards that students can take. I have a diffuser in here that smells like gingerbread, like little things just to make the room warmer. Respect, first and foremost, and no cell phones. That's a big one for me. I guess just the softness of it. I feel like it's inviting, and that's kind of the vibe I wanted for my students. I try to model what I want from them, so respect and hard work, but also being okay with risk-taking and making mistakes.
Great job, Brady Grippo and Matthew Kristoff on this excellent video.
Thanks, Dylan. Okay, so apparently there is a turtle just chilling in a classroom right now, and I feel like that's information that can't be ignored.
A turtle, like not a metaphor, not a mascot, an actual shell-wearing, slow-moving turtle.
Yeah, exactly just like TMT.
I told you, I don't watch cartoons, but speaking of heroes, let's see what's going on in room 317 with Mr. Passarello, produced by Kate Skornavaca and Brett Gang.
I am Mr. B. Welcome to my classroom.
So our room, we try to keep it different from the other classes. The turtle tank, obviously, is the biggest attraction for the room. Everybody likes to come in, see the turtle. It's really important for me to have plants and animals in here. It's a biology room, so there should be living things in here, just like it was when I was in school and when I was in college. Tons of stuff in here that's super important. There's a lot of like keepsakes that I have. The shark is from my neighbor. My plant over there is from my mom's house. I have tons of student artwork in here and things that people have made in ceramics that they've dropped off and wanted to give as gifts and stuff. So I try to keep everything out and prominent. The most important thing that is in this room right now is that man sitting over there, Mr. Gebhardt. He's partner in crime, somebody who pushes me to be a better teacher. It's definitely that man over there. Usually the first thing that people notice is the turtle tank in the back, because that's fairly, right when you walk in. Most people are going to notice then the goose and the duck that are up on the wall there. That's usually the biggest things that I get when people walk in. If I could add anything else to the room, it would be definitely more living specimens. It would be more animals. I would love to have, reptiles set up, snakes, frogs and toads and stuff like that. It is just a lot of work to make sure that everything stays alive. And then over the summer, it's difficult trying to figure out where all those animals are going to get placed. So because we're not open year round like we are, or like I was at the college, it becomes a little bit more difficult on what things I can actually have in here throughout the year. I am the oldest thing in my room. Nobody gets my references. Nobody understands when I make lines from movies, or I do accents from, like old movie stars. They have no clue what's going on. So students make me feel, and my coworkers make me feel consistently old all the time. So thank all of you for that.
That science room is very active.
No, it's more cultured biology. Nice job on the video, Kate and BG. Thanks for Mr. P. That room is awesome. Moving things along.
In this next segment, we head over to one of our art rooms. Producers Lauren Mortimer and Madison O'Hara provide this report on one of our most creative spaces in the school.
Hi, I'm Ms. Farrell. Come on in. Let me show you what we're doing in Design Fundamentals. So this is the art room in 214, and the way that we've set it up was that we have display boards up here to show all the different classes that go on in this room up here. And then we also have the projector in the front where when I give a mini lesson, you can be able to see and follow along what's going on. We've taken several steps in Design Fundamentals. First we learned drawing, then we applied the foundation of color theory, then we progressed to color theory and line drawing, and now we're doing perspective. All of these things will build upon each other until the end of the semester, so students are ready for those foundations if they want to progress further into honors. So let me show you what we're doing right now with perspective. Currently, the students are learning one-point perspective, and in order to do that, they have to take certain steps. So the first thing is to understand that there's a horizon line and that there's a vanishing point. And so by doing that, then they can draw their foundational home in one-point perspective. The next step is to take that and to do it with shapes. And once they're able to do so, then they have their choice of an interior to design it and illustrate it, and using the proper tools to do so, such as a triangle and a T-square. What I hope students get when they come into the classroom is they get a sense of energy, and they also get a sense of belonging, and that they're in a safe environment where they can express themselves and expand their comprehension in their core content classes so that they can make connections to art. I do have flexible seating. I have student choice seating. So because I feel collaboration is a key part of art, and when you're able to do so with people that you know, that makes a good foundation, but also then you need to expand and get out of your comfort zone, and then it builds confidence for students to be able to do that. My room is special because we have areas that are designated for certain concentrations, such as in the back of the room we have painting, we also have assemblage for mats, we also have the resources we need for cleanup and drying racks. We also have areas for our word wall and projectors so that teaching can be very, very useful in this environment. I always have the students organize their artwork up here in the shelf if it's not wet, according to class. So we have AP, honors, and then both our design fundamentals. And the tables are color-coded so that they get color folders that they put their dry work in and organize it so that it's an autonomous classroom where they can access the artwork themselves, and they're also responsible for their own quality of artwork and keeping the craftsmanship neat.
Fantastic report, girls. The interesting fact is room 214 looks like it's going to become a new class next year as we introduce culinary arts here at KHS.
So what does that mean?
Well, it's going to become a new space with kitchen equipment and courses designed for culinary arts. The art room will have a new space, and the change seems exciting.
Well, speaking of food, we head over to English teacher Mr. Ortega, who could possibly pass as a horticulturist.
Big word there.
Yeah, fancy word for saying a gardener who grows fruits and vegetables.
That's what goes on in that class? I thought it was English.
Let's just check out the video produced by Kayla Shablik and Mike Ferretti.
Hi, I'm Mr. Ortega. I teach all kinds of English. Come on in. This is my favorite part of the room. It's the first thing that I put up. It's just an inspiration wall. I'm pretty into lifting and all that stuff, so I kind of think that strength is for everybody, and these are all really inspirational strength figures, and just has some inspirational words on there. The meaning of the plants are, I kind of have a green thumb. I do a lot of gardening at home, and I think plants just brighten up any space. So I got these are called aero gardens. They just kind of cycle water and nutrients to the plant roots, and then you get to grow some pretty cool stuff inside of your classroom. So I'm kind of a fruit nerd, kind of goes with the green thumb. I love apples, they're my favorite fruit. A lot of people think apples are just red apples or yellow apples or green apples, but there's actually tons of different varieties, and I kind of know all of them. Yeah, it's just something I obsess over. This is a pawpaw. My wife did this drawing. A lot of people don't know about this fruit. It's the largest North American native fruit, and it kind of tastes like juicy fruit gum a little bit, or like banana. It's really hard to describe, but they're awesome. This is one of my favorite things in the classroom. This is a pig head. I stuffed it with old shirts in a black plastic bag. I used to teach junior CP English, and that had Lord of the Flies as our last book. And I would take this pig head and put it on a stick and hang it in my classroom as kind of a reminder of some of the lessons inside of the book. So the raisins, a lot of people ask me about those. I had a student who would eat raisins every single day, and I started collecting his boxes and taping them together. And then I said I'd be able to wrap around the entire room with all these boxes of raisins. It never actually happened, but I left them up there anyways because it's a reminder. So I've been teaching for 4 years, 3 years here in Kinnelon. I became a teacher mostly because, I don't know, I kind of had a rough time in school for various reasons. But as I grew up and I went to college, I started really valuing what education does for me, and I feel like I should share what that value is with everybody else and empower people through learning stuff. And I became an English teacher because reading is really how you do all that stuff. If you can't really read, you're not really going to learn anything. Reading lets you teach yourself all sorts of stuff. So that's why I have all my hobbies, because I read about them.
Have you ever had a pawpaw?
Apples? Yeah, I've had those.
Yeah, dancing fruit. Okay, we conclude our last segment, a room that is a unique learning environment, as we trek over to the fitness center.
We learn more with Mr. Capper as producers Joe Ferrara and Mike Lesko share their support.
Welcome to the weight room. Come on, let me show you. What's unique about this classroom is that kids that come here after school want to be here, and on top of it, they get to do what they would like to do. And what do I mean by that? Is when they come in here, if they want to work on a certain body part, they can. If they want to change their mind and start to do something different, they can. And when they come in here, they have the full guidance and support that's everybody that's in here. So everybody that does come in here wants to help each other out. What makes it exciting is that every day is a different day. Every couple of years, the kids change. We have new kids come in, we have kids leave, and every day is a new challenge, and there's always things that we can improve on and get better. And I also like to see when kids make a commitment to come in and work out hard, they start to see changes. And when they see their changes, their confidence levels start to build, and it's exciting to see that progression. Our room is laid out in a oval type of direction, so kids, when they're working out, they're always moving like in a circle. They're moving in a circle or an oval, so nobody has to cross over each other, and it eliminates any possibilities where somebody might walk into each other. So we always work in a circle, and they can change directions. They can go either left or right, but it's very rare you see kids cut in between because kids are working out in the middle and on the perimeter. If I had $1 million, the first thing I would do is love to expand, bring some new equipment into the room. We're always improving. The district is very good about seeing where we need things and how we can make things better. One of our new improvements, or one of our first things that we just added this year, was our air conditioning units for the warmer months, so it's a little bit more comfortable to work in here. And then we also got 2 new pieces of equipment, the recumbent bicycles.
Thanks to all involved in that video. What makes the Fitness Center unique is it's a space that provides opportunities for students after school.
Well, that wraps up our show. For our entire crew, my co-host Brady, and of course Giancarlo, somebody's getting cookies.
This has been another KCAS show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace, everybody.